Before we begin, I would request you to subscribe to my channel and like this video to be updated about all of our future content. Vampires in pop culture are considered evil mythological beings who roam the world at night searching for people whose blood they can feed upon. They might just be the best known classic monsters of all. Most people associate vampires with Count Dracula, the legendary blood-sucking subject of Bram Stoker's epic novel Dracula, which was published in 1897. But the history of vampires began a long time before Stoker was born. What is a vampire? There are almost as many different characteristics of vampires as there are vampire legends. But the main core characteristic of a vampire is that they drink human blood. They typically drain the victim's blood using their sharp fangs, killing them and turning them into vampires like themselves. Vampires hunt at night since sunlight weakens their powers. Some may have the ability to morph into a bat or a wolf. Vampires also have super strength and are often depicted to have hypnotic, sensual effect on their victims. Vampires cannot see their image in a mirror and also cannot cast any shadows. When Bram Stoker started writing Dracula, it's thought by many that he named Count Dracula after Vlad Dracula, also known as Vlad the Impaler. Vlad Dracula was born in Transylvania, Romania. He ruled Wichita, Romania, off and from 1456 to 1462. Some historians describe him as just, yet a brutally cruel ruler who violently fought the Ottoman Empire. Vlad earned his nickname because of his favorite way to kill his enemies, which was to impale them on a wooden stake. According to the legend, Vlad Dracula enjoyed dining amidst his dying victims and dripping his blood in their blood. Although whether those glory tales are true or untrue is unknown, though many people believe that these stories specifically sparked Stoker's imagination to create Count Dracula, who in the novel is also from Transylvania and sucked the blood of his victims and could only be killed by driving a wooden stake through his heart, much like Vlad the Impaler. But according to Dracula and vampire expert Elizabeth Miller, Stoker did not particularly base Count Dracula's life on Vlad Dracula. Nevertheless, the similarities between the two Draculas are intriguing, to say the least. Vampire superstition thrived in the Middle Ages, especially as the plague decimated entire towns. The disease often left bleeding mouth lesions on its victims, which, to some uneducated folk, was a sign of vampirism. It wasn't really uncommon for anyone with an unfamiliar physical or emotional illness to be labeled a vampire. Many researchers have pointed to porphyria, a blood disorder that can cause severe blisters on skin that's exposed to sunlight, as a disease that may have been linked to the vampire legend. Some symptoms of porphyria can be temporarily revealed by ingesting blood. Other diseases blamed for promoting vampire myth include rabies or goiter. In the old ages, when a suspected vampire used to die, their bodies were often interrogated to search for signs of vampirism. In some cases, a wooden stake was thrust through the corpse's heart to make sure that the corpse was actually dead and might not rise again, eventually. Other accounts also described the decapitation and burning of the corpses of suspected vampires in the 19th century. Mercy Brown may rival Count Dracula as the most notorious vampire. Unlike Count Dracula, however, Mercy was a real person. She lived in Exeter, Rhode Island, and was the daughter of George Brown, a farmer. After George lost many of his family members, including Mercy, in the late 1800s because of tuberculosis, his community used Mercy as a scapegoat to explain their deaths. It was also common at that time to blame several deaths on one family on the undead, to the level where the bodies of each dead family member were often exhumed and searched for signs of vampirism. When Mercy's body was exhumed and did not display severe decay, which was not surprising since her body was placed in an above-ground vault during a New England winter, the townspeople accused her of being a vampire and making her family sick from her icy grave. They cut her head, burnt it, and fed the ashes to her sick brother. And perhaps not surprisingly, he died shortly after. Although contemporary science has silenced the vampire fears of the past, people who call themselves vampires still do exist. These people are normal-seeming individuals who drink small amounts of blood in a, perhaps, misguided effort to stay healthy and have an everlasting long life. These communities of self-identified vampires can be found on the internet and in cities and towns all around the world. In order to avoid rekindling vampire superstitions, most modern vampires keep it to themselves and typically conduct their feeding rituals in private, which include drinking blood of willing donors, all in secret. Some vampires don't physically ingest human blood, but claim to feed off the energy of others. Many of these people state that if they don't feed regularly, they become agitated or depressed. Vampires mostly became mainstream after Dracula was published. Since then, Count Dracula's legendary persona has been a topic of many films, books, and television shows. One of these so-called real vampires consists of people like Don Hendry, who is also known as the Vampire Don. Don Hendry had a role in the sci-fi reality show Mad House, which first aired in 2004. Amusingly, this man is a vampire by choice, as even though biologically a human, he still practically consumes human blood for pleasure and dresses up as a goth to fully embrace the vampire lifestyle. Don Hendry has appeared in numerous television reality shows and has also been featured in numerous publications regarding his career and his perspective on the vampire lifestyle. His another notable documentary appearance includes the feature documentary Vampires, where he appears alongside various other members of the vampire community. Again, the members of this community aren't actual vampires, just humans who are fascinated by vampire lore and embrace it to the fullest. Given the fascination that people have had with all things horror, vampires, real or imagined, are likely to continue to inhabit the earth for years to come. Please do subscribe to my channel and like this video to be updated about all of my future videos. Thank you.